So today the topic is we speak law. We speak law. Now, I think it's important to go into this social aspect of speaking law. You know what I'm saying? Because it's valuable and it's powerful. Of course, it originates from individuality. You know what I'm saying? Where a person has these processes all within themselves. You know what I'm saying? And then this transfers into family, friends, community, and society at large. Okay, and the one thing that I've noticed is that like this is a consistency. Excuse me. This is a consistency throughout nature. You know what I'm saying? Like there are patterns to how things operate, to how our life operates. You know what I'm saying? And how we work in the larger environment. I mean, us even as the beings that we are. You know what I'm saying? How we interact in the larger society, there's a pattern of how things work. You know what I'm saying? With every different species, the part that they play in on this earthly plane and in the universe. You know what I'm saying? As we understand this, we break into our true nature and are able to come to a point of our full fulfillment and like our purpose in life. You know what I'm saying? And following that natural course is where we're gonna get the most out of it. You know what I'm saying? Where are we gonna get the most out of life? You know what I'm saying? Understanding the way that we're made, our natural capabilities, you know what I'm saying, the way that we can train ourselves to do certain things, the way that we are able to evolve. You know what I'm saying? This is best accomplished by understanding natural order and our place in it. Now, anyway, back on to the subject or the topic of the day, which is we speak law. Okay. What we want to talk about when we want to have an understanding is the fact that speaking is a manifestation of energy. Okay. Speaking is a manifestation of energy. Okay. Now, this starts, even the speaking, this starts from a thought. You know what I'm saying? There's like I've broken it up into basically like 4 different stages. Okay, thoughts become words. Okay, first is a word in your mind, which is to produce conscious thought or conscious thinking. Okay, now that conscious thinking or the word is manifested into speech. Okay, speech is manifested into action, and action is manifested into fruition. Okay, now there's a process of training our thought patterns and our responses. You know what I'm saying? Just like if somebody is an athlete, you know what I'm saying. When you learn in boxing, you learn where to put your body, how to put your body, how to respond when you see certain things. You know what I'm saying? The way people are learning combinations, you know what I'm saying, and counter punching is by training your mind. You know what I'm saying? Training your thought process and your responses. So it's like immediately. You know what I'm saying? So this is where you can break this original pattern, you know what I'm saying, or the pattern as I explained it, which is where your thoughts become words, and this word is conscious thinking. Okay, conscious thinking in your mind, that is the word before it actually comes out of your mouth. You know what I'm saying? The word comes to speech. The speech is manifested as action, and action is manifested into fruition, i.e., the result that you produce. Okay. Now, one thing about it, when you train yourself consciously to do something, your subconscious mind will pick it up. Okay, your subconscious or unconscious mind will pick it up. Okay, and what that helps do is produce things like a reaction. Like I was using the reference in boxing. Okay, you do stuff enough times, you know what I'm saying, you putting this training into your mind. You training your mind to think a certain way. Okay, and you training the process from thought, word, action. You know what I'm saying? Think, say, do, or thought, word, action, thought, conscious thought to action. Okay, thought, conscious thought, speech, action. You know what I'm saying? But in this process, for the sake of a faster reaction, you're skipping the speech part and jumping straight into action after conscious thought. You know what I'm saying? And when you get cold enough at training yourself in thought patterns and responses to thought patterns and new information coming into your mind, you know what I'm saying? That's where a person gets to the point of having a quick reaction. You know what I'm saying? To block, counter, you know what I'm saying, and all of that. But this is basically, I would say, this is the root of getting to that. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things that we want to do is train ourselves, train our thought patterns and our responses. You know what I'm saying? But right now, what we talk, well, it's cool to understand the process. That's why I just went through that real quick. But right now, what I'm talking about is your word is law. Now, understand when I say your word, as I explained the process, that your word is not only the speech that comes out of your mouth. The word is conscious thought. You know what I'm saying? You can have random thoughts that come through your mind, but it doesn't become word until you have the conscious thought or thinking about a particular thing. You know what I'm saying? And that is what I describe as the word. You know what I'm saying? That conscious thought, where you have basically you have an understanding of what's going on. And you know, just like with anything, if you understand something for long enough, just like I said, like I explained with this training your mind, you know what I'm saying, the eventuality of it is you training your mind, your mind, spirit, and body to act in union. Okay, your spirit, your mind, your body to act in union. Okay, now one thing we want to acknowledge is that the mind controls the body. This is one of my phraseologies or a statement that I use for the sake of understanding the way that our nature, specifically human nature, works. Okay, the mind controls the body. The mind is influenced by the spirit. Okay, now this is where we get into collective consciousness. Okay, now our word being law. Now what happens is the process that I just explained from thought to word, word to speech, speech to action, action to fruition. Okay, this is the process of momentum. Now this is what I was talking about when I explained that it starts from an individual perspective, understanding ourselves and how we work, how we naturally work, and this is transferred into dealing with people outside of ourselves, i.e., you know what I'm saying, family, extended family, friends, community, and larger society. You know what I'm saying? This process still exists regardless when it starts from our individuality. You know what I'm saying? This is why we are able to relate so well to other people, and we are able to have things like sympathy and empathy. You know what I'm saying? Because of the process that exists within ourselves. Okay? Now, in understanding this, okay, I'm gonna address creative consciousness. Okay, when we have a word that meshes with somebody else's word, you know what I'm saying, it's a consistent thought pattern. That by doing that in the same way that we work on an individual basis, where we build momentum from a thought to conscious thinking, that conscious thinking being a word, you know what I'm saying, word to action and action to fruition. That same pattern is what we take into our dealings with people outside of ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And that is the momentum. You know what I'm saying? Where we are able to accomplish greater things as a conglomerate than we can individually. You know what I'm saying? Because we're building more momentum by the sharing of ideas and the sharing of a word and the process. And the following this process, which I guess I should develop a name for that, but anyway, following this process of having this thought and conscious thought, and that conscious thought being transferred to speech and action and fruition, you know what I'm saying? And the eventuality of it is it produces a result. And to say simply, reiterate again, we're going to get bigger results because we're building more momentum by unifying and utilizing our collective consciousness. Okay, this is the importance of we speak law. You know what I'm saying? We can get more done together than being isolated or operating solo. Okay. Now, understanding this process, man, when we put some energy into something collectively, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's 2 or 3, you know what I'm saying? Or 5, 10, 100, 1,000, 1,000,000 people standing for the same purpose, having a uniform thought pattern. You know what I'm saying? And developing a habit of manifestation from the thought pattern to word, to action, to fruition. I mean, obviously, we're able to accomplish great things as a people by understanding this process and actually utilizing this process. You know what I'm saying? And that's the greater focus of today's message is understanding collective consciousness. You know what I'm saying? Understanding that our word is law. Maybe let me delve a little bit more into some particulars about law. Okay. I mean, I know that everybody we can go to your standard dictionary, you know what I'm saying, Oxford dictionary or whatever dictionary you want to use for common English or whatever, and it's gonna take you back to basically like Old English or something, to lay or lag something like that about law. You know what I'm saying? It's about land, which is basically about laying something down. You know what I'm saying? But in our heritage, in our culture, actually, you know what I'm saying? From one place, you can take it from our African ancestry, which comes back over here to America years ago. Okay, but anyway, the African spiritual systems. One of the things that's relative where law actually comes from is a loa. Okay, um, like you got the Loa Legba, Loa Ogun, you know what I'm saying? Aizon, you know what I'm saying? Oshun, you know what I'm saying? Those there are like four principles about social order. You know what I'm saying? That's why I happen to mention those. You know what I'm saying? But Loa, uh, the Loa or whatever, eventually came to be stated by Europeans as law. Okay, you know, and that's just how you get it. Like how phonetics are. You know what I'm saying? Over time, shit changes. You know what I'm saying? Just like from different regions, people pronounce stuff a different way. You know what I'm saying? The way they get to it. You know what I'm saying? It just that I'm not finna go all into like the Greco-Roman stuff and where they got it from. You know what I'm saying? You could do some independent research and study to understand that they pretty much didn't necessarily originate most of the stuff about civilization and society. You know what I'm saying? The whole thing about what civilized is, or civilizing something that is an action. You know what I'm saying? And it was an action that was perpetrated against people. You know what I'm saying? For the sake of bringing them to a certain norm and stuff like that. But let me digress. I'm not even gonna go into that right now. You know what I'm saying? We say that for a later video. Okay. The basic thing here that I'm talking about in this particular instance is like the origins of law. Okay, which in a relatively modern sense, you know what I'm saying, going back like some hundreds, teetering on thousands of years. You know what I'm saying? Because our culture is vast and very deep, and we have a long history. Okay, but even in current modern day times, you know what I'm saying, there's a such thing as a law. Okay, but this is a ancient. Shit, I'm finna stop. Let me see.